Welcome to the Sunday Sports Show on a very windy and blustery Sunday, the 14th of April. I'm joined again by Paul Rooney, and with an action-packed weekend of sport. So we have an awful lot of things to run through. So just on starting off, putting a lot of things into perspective on a tragic note, just the death of Michael McCaggy, current Villa Rovers footballer, and all round good fella. I played a couple of years soccer with him, Paul. Unfortunately, a bit of an accident over the weekend, and he's passed us. He'll be remembered as being a fantastic footballer, one of the quickest in the Caribbean League ever. But he'll also be remembered for being the life and soul of the party and his famous dance-off. So our thoughts and prayers are with his family at this tragic time for him. So that puts everything into perspective. But we'll go on then with start off with the Caribbean League results from Saturday. Premier Division, Demully United 4, North End Strollers 3. This is Thursday. Results from Thursday the 11th in the Premier Division. Demully United 4, North End Strollers 3, Rockview 0, Windmill Stars 2, Killeavy United 1, Whitecross 1, and Division 1, Cartwheel United 4, Shanroe 1, Midway United 0, Villa Rovers 1. Caribbean League results, I'm going backwards here, Paul, from Wednesday the 10th of April. Division 1 is Bohemians 0, Clanray 4, Orchard City 2, Ashgrove Rovers 0, Parkview 1, Grasshoppers 2, Rostrevor Rovers 0, Milbourne United 3. And in the 5A's Youth League on Wednesday night, in the under 11s, Midway United 5, Windmill Colts 1. In the under 12 was Killowen Celtic 2, Money Slane 3. In the under 13s is Midway United 3, Demully United 4, Midway Raids 1, Brookvale 4, Refrain Swifts 5, and Ballabot Celtic 1. And again, the night previous to that, there was a full round of programmes. Caribbean League on Tuesday the 9th. Premier Division was Finn Harps 1, Cleary Celtic 1, Killeavy United 2, North End Strollers 3, Newry Celtic 0, Windmill Stars 1, Rockview United 0, Creve Rovers 3, Woodside 1, Bestbrook United 1. And in the 5A's Youth League, Barcroft 4, Killowen Colts 1, Listrum Celtic 5, and Refrain Swifts 1. We're actually missing, we're missing Saturday's results, but we'll try and get that for you later in the programme after one of the videos.
One other result, do you mean, from the weekend? I was down at Newry City Friday night. They had a match on the lights for the under 16s. I think they're trying to get this Newry City up and running again. And the boys beat a wee team from Belfast 3-1, playing Stars. Great game.
Yeah.
And it's great to see Newry City lit up again.
Yeah.
And that Alwee man you mentioned at the start, very sad. And a lot of people's feelings for him, but he also played Gaelic for Mitchells right through his career too.
Yeah.
He was a great GAA man as well as a soccer man. So
a great all-round sportsman. He up round in Windmill and Rockview United and stuff. I know he played for a few clubs up around there, so there's a lot of friends and family hurting this weekend. So we're just again a lot of Mitchell's colleagues
that's right,
just texting us in to let us know that he played for the Mitchells. So again, all we can do is pray for the lad and maybe give him a good send off, maybe Monday or Tuesday whenever the funeral is. But we don't have the results from Saturday there, but we have the league tables, and it sitting at the minute. Bestbrook in the Premier Division they're 8 points ahead of Killeavy, but Killeavy have 6 games in hand. So it's Bestbrook's in the driving seat, Paul, to win the league. And
they're looking good, aren't they?
Windmill and Killeavy are in the chasing pack. They have 5 or 6 games in hand, but they have to win them games.
You'd wonder how Killeavy ended up 6 games less than Bestbrook too, wouldn't you?
I think a lot of them, Windmill always seem to end up with the games left at the end of the year because they're playing that many cup competitions, the junior cups, and the further you get, the less you can play league matches, and then there's a big fixture pile up at the end of the year.
Cup matches and stuff.
So that's why there's matches Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. Plus the snow and the weather over this last while didn't help the state of the pitches, and even there was a lot of rain. There's some Ballyholland and that was off the day. There's senior match.
I was down this morning at Park Esler, and you mentioned that.
We'll cover the GA now further down the line, but
it was bog. It was pure flood. It was flooded this morning.
It is. I went up sleeved on it yesterday with a dog, and it was the worst idea ever done. I was drenched to the skin. I didn't realise starting how bad it was, but that's another story. But in Division 1, Orchard City were crowned champions, I think, on Saturday, or maybe one of the nights last week. Run away with the league. 19 games played with 52 points. Villa Rovers sitting in second, and I know Mickey played a bit for Villa on 42 points, but I think both them clubs will be promoted, and Orchard City deserved winners. They were the best team in the
good
first
team.
division.
I've seen them this year, and they've run away with matches at times, Damien. Like so that, and they'll give the Premier League a fair shake next year too.
They will. They signed a lot of players.
Windmill and Bestbrook's better be ready for them because they're coming very strongly.
The big plans from last year, and they've put a lot of work in, a lot of effort, and they signed a lot of good players, and they just coasted through that first division. They signed a lot of Premier players.
Yeah.
So that's why they coasted through the first division, and they'll give the Premiership a good rattle next year, and on all the best to them. Moving on, we have the Dart League results. The Newry City Tire sponsored Dart League, as Paul's going to run through. Plenty of action over Thursday and Friday night, Paul.
Plenty of action is right. In the Premier Division, Mayo Bridge Social Club 3, Mackay's A5, Bosco 3, Nummies A5, Shane O'Neill's GFC 5, Mackay's Boys 3, Nummies B1, Charlie's 7, Hibs A3, the first and last 5, Boyd's B5 and the Seasiders INFA 3. In Division 1, Hockey Club B6, the Gap of the North 2, 3 Steps A, V Forkhill, it was off so it was, Seasiders INF B8, Murphy's Make Nil, McGee's A2, Catholic Workerman's Club A6, Catholic Workerman's Club C4, Ballyhole INF 4, Drummond T, GFC 3, Quinns Camla 5, and the Division 2, Allen's Army 4, Lumpers Bar A4, the Windmill A4, the Welcome Inn 4, Lumpers Bar 3, T Coolin 5, the Gap of the North and Trainers was off as well, Doyle's Bar 3, McGee's B5, Catholic Working Man's Club B 4, Killeavy GSE 4, and in Division 3, Mackay's C7, John Moores 1, Trouts Tavern and the 3 Steps was off. Cranchigo A and Ballyhole with no scorecard for that, so we can't give you that one. Sleeve Gherkin 5, Hockey Club 3, Cornamuckla House 6, Cranchigo 2, O'Hanlon's White Cross 6, Pat Shop Boys 2, and in Division 4, the Endo 2, Hockey Club C6, Trainers Heroes 1, House Bar and Meath 7, Charlie's Angels 1 and the Windmill Bar B 7, Seasiders INF 3, the Hibs B5, Forkhill Gaelic Football Club C 5, Boyd's C3, Armagh Down Ladies 8, the Cove Bar 0, and Veronica's Army had a bye. Some teams not Damien.
Plenty of action.
Spreads well.
It
spreads well outside Newry.
Well, I see a few of the Darts results called off that because of the bad weather, was it?
No, I think there was a death up in that area around Forkhill, and you know, Trainers. It affected Trainers Forkhill and Cranchigo, whatever. It must have been a dart player from one of the clubs or something. That's why they were called off. But like she stretches away up there till Gap of the North, you know what I mean? And
right down the
Lumpers Bar way down near Carlingford.
Yeah.
It's a big league that.
And there's not much action and people interested in it. We're actually contemplating doing a pool separate show and a separate dart show, so if anybody wants to get involved, get in contact with us, either sponsoring it or talking about it. There's going to be in the next couple of weeks, because there's that much action and we get carried away talking about the Gaelic here, so
we need somebody to talk about darts.
We'll have to get an excuse to get out on a Thursday and a Friday night to play darts or pool to get more interested in this or get more knowledge of it. But there's only a few pool results that we'll run through from Tuesday from the Vegas Cup quarterfinals, and I just have them here. TJ's beat Newry City 8-1, Hockey Club 3, McGuigan's 6, Burrs 7, TJ's United 2, TJ's Wonders 7 and Sheepbridge 2, and that's all the results of the pool. I think Cahill plays for McGuigan's and he said for the third week in a row he won the winning frame, whatever that means.
6-3,
it depended on him to win the 5th or 6th frame, the decider, he says, so he's the pressure player for McGuigan's But completely separate sport now altogether. We met up during the week with the Dundalk Mavericks American football team.
We
they're
get around
starting
them,
up.
Damien, don't we? We get
We
around
did,
these
we did,
sports,
yeah.
these sports venues.
I think it came from your amazing fact a few
That's
weeks
right,
ago
that's
about the
right,
Crown
that's
of
where
Hill.
they're from.
But we caught up with the coach and the quarterback. They came in the studio and we had a chat and an interview, and they're trying to recruit a few players. I know Sean, the cameraman, is talking about going up and doing a bit of training, but we're going to run the wee interview now, and if anybody's interested, the details will be on the interview or on our website, destinationuri.com.
You didn't know Sean?
Hello, and we're welcome today to a special report for the Sunday Sports Show. We're joined by Dundalk Mavericks head coach Sarah Matthews and quarterback Declan Mulvihill. You're very welcome.
Nice
Thank
to
you
meet
very
you.
much.
How are you?
Nice to be here.
We just discovered that Dundalk has a American football team. How long are you going, or have you just started?
Well, we started up last year in November time. We used to play in Drogheda, and there was a league around, and since as we were up in Dundalk a good bit, we decided that we'd try and start one up there. And so since November we've been going strong.
And going well, you're training every week or every couple of weeks, and
Indeed, yeah. Every Sunday morning from 12 o'clock till 3 o'clock, and then we get a session in during the midweek as well from Thursday, and it's usually about 6:30 to 8:30, and it's great to get those double sessions and gives everybody a great opportunity to come down, whether they're working whether they're working midweek or working weekends. They have an option to come to both sessions and get as much time in as they can.
yeah, and obviously the more you can get your hands on and the more training they do, the better they'll become, and the easier your job should be.
That's exactly it. See, the great thing about American football is it's so new to everybody. So yeah, training time is very important, because a lot of people sort of think, oh, I can't go down, I've never seen the sport, or I don't know the rules, or I've never been involved in it, and none of that applies at all. Absolutely, come on down. We teach you everything you need to know. You don't need to be overly familiar with it at all. It's for absolutely everybody, all kinds of rookies and new people and beginners. We have the time to teach you, so we do.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, you are doing a bit of a recruitment drive to get as many people up, training as possible. So if anybody from the Newry and Mourne area wants to join, do they have to be any age or size or fitness or experience?
Just from 17 above, we're looking for all shapes and sizes. It's the kind of sport that can facilitate tall, short, heavy, light. Any kind of person can play. There's a spot in the field for everyone.
Yeah, well, that's a good sign for a lot of local people around here, maybe. We discovered he's had an American football team in Dundalk, and I was asking before we started, are you the only team in Ireland, and do you have a league to play against, or who do you play against?
There's a huge league in Ireland at the moment, and it's growing every day. So it is. When we started out at Drogheda ourselves, it was still absolutely growing and adding teams to it all the time. The leagues that exist as they are split up into two sections. There's the Shamrock Bowl Conference, which is the top division or premiership of American football in Ireland, and then there's a second division, which is IEFL 1, which is the division we were kind of in last year, and the format changed. It's a new format this year for the first time for the IAFL, and I think it's about 8 or 9 teams in the first one and 7 teams in the second one, so it's growing every day, and there's 4 or 5 teams who are in the same position as us at the moment, which is what is referred to as your formative year, which is the year where you're given the chance to put yourselves together, recruit your people, train them, get them familiar with the game, buy your gear, and do all your training. And that's the year we're in at the moment, with about 4 or 5 other teams in the country. So that means next year there'll be 4 or 5 teams vying for places in the league as well. So it's absolutely growing at a phenomenal rate now, so it is.
And how often would you play games against other teams?
The games that we'll be playing now will start in August time, which will be it starts with kind of charity tournaments or blitz tournaments, which is when all the formative teams come together with some of the experienced teams, and we find out what footing we're on as a team. So that's what's next for us. So our goal for the next few months is to get everybody in. That's why we're saying there's no pressure for rookies and for people who are wanting to learn the game, because they have plenty of time to come down, learn with us, get fully trained up before they ever take to the field for a game. So, but it seems to be rolling in fast now. We save lots of time, but the truth is August is going to come up a lot faster than we can blink or think about it. So that's what we're aiming for at the moment now is August in tournaments.
Yeah, and the bright nights, everybody's in good
Such
form
a
now
relief.
coming into the summer. Yeah,
It's been fantastic. We're delighted to see the weather hopefully change again, hopefully come back into the good sunshine and get everybody a reason to get out and not only train but see it. It's an exciting thing just to watch. We get people who, when they stop by or hear that it's going on and they watch us, they tend to stay around for a little while because they go, wow, look, it's so different,
Yeah, and we have a bit of footage we'll play after this interview that people can get a feel for the training, training matches and the excitement that's involved in the training. But Do they need to bring any gear if anybody's interested in joining, or what do you need to have to take part in training?
Well, when you just come down, all we need for first session is football boots and any clothes. You don't mind getting too dirty because end up filthy anyway, as in any field sport. So that's all we need for the start out anyway.
And you took your boots in today, Declan, to let us have a look there.
To my eternal detriment around here.
They're very small and a very quiet looking boot they are.
Well, I don't miss the football often if I try and kick it, you know.
You told us they were size 16, so probably
Yeah.
the biggest football boots we've ever seen.
They're hard to find, but when you do find them, they're fairly easy to find again.
No, flashy boots for a flashy player. But just again, sir, how does anybody get in touch with you if they're interested in going up to training, or whereabouts do you train?
Well, we've a few ways people can get in touch. We train ourselves in the DKIT Sports Grounds, which is not really too far from here at all. That's why we're very happy to be set up in Dundalk, because there's great access for all across Louth. You know, it's kind of a nice central area from stretching up as far as Newry and down as far as just the tip of Drogheda. Like, we've plenty of range there for people to come along to. And if they want to get in touch or know more about us, we are on Facebook. You can look up Dundalk Mavericks AFC, or you can tweet us at Dundalk Maverick. And we have a Gmail account as well. We have dundalkmavericks@gmail.com if anyone wants to mail us and get in touch with us.
That's perfect. So anybody is on Facebook or Twitter, there's no reason why you can't get in touch with the Dundalk Mavericks, or check us out at www.destinationnewry.com, and we'll have all the contact details up there. So thanks to Sarah and Declan for coming down and taking the time to speak to us, and we hope you go on to bigger and better things come August, and maybe even get a game streamed live come August.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for inviting us down.
And that was the Dundalk Mavericks, who we caught up during the week. Now we're hoping to get a bit of footage of them training or playing a match, but unfortunately we hadn't got it in time, so we'll try and get up during the week or for next week's show. So good luck to the Dundalk Mavericks, and we're trying to get a few matches maybe streamed for them during the year and get a few supporters from the Newry area, or players even, Paul.
Yeah.
So we'll move on now to what we do best and talk about GAA. And we'll have the down GAA results. We'll start with Division 1. They'll be up on your screen and we'll run through them, and then we'll have a wee talk about them. Longstone 6 points, Downpatrick 13 points, Rostrevor 2-11, Leitrim 8 points, Saville 2-11, Mayo Bridge 2-7, Warrenpoint 1-16, Clonduff 1-9, Annaclone 1-11 and Rake 1-9. Bransford and Ballyhone was postponed due to the weather. Borden 4-6, Kilcoo 13 points, Castlewellan 1-16, Loughnane 1-8. So that's the first round of the Division 1 results, and a few shocks there, Paul.
Shocks is right, Damien. And looking down through them there, you see Longstone was first one. We'll go through, take them one by one, Damien, maybe. Yeah. Longstone 6, Downpatrick 13 points, and that's probably coming off the Turleys and that involvement, you know, with the down there. Them two boys are playing well, and they've a boy Talford out there.
Peter
Do you remember him?
Yeah,
he was a good player.
Yeah.
He was on the verge of the down team too, so it's great to see. Great to see Downpatrick, you know, coming through a season with, you know, with a good run, and East Down coming up again a bit, like. And then you have Rostrevor and Leitrim. Well, you'd have sort of expected that there, because Leitrim, they're in a bit of trouble over there with snow, and they haven't got training, Damien. Their whole training schedule's down, and they've a lot of boys away. And, you know what I mean? It's hard for Leitrim at the minute, between hurling and between the field snowed under 6 foot of snow. Like, Leitrim will come good towards the end of the season. There's still some very good players there. We mentioned last week, Damien, about Liam Doyle. I don't think he was playing the other night, but
no, we've seen him running up and down the pitch, so I'm sure he wasn't playing. But Liam's a big miss for anybody, for Down and Leitrim, you know.
He'd be a big motivator in the team. Then we'll move on to Saville, Mayo Bridge, and by all accounts, Saville got off to a screamer.
A great start for Darren Quinn. Is you managing there?
And then Medang got 2 goals early on, Damien, and Mayo Bridge pulled it back to, you know, they were 2-4 down at half time, and they were struggling, and they pulled it back to 2-7 each, but the fight back really beat them, you know what I mean, because Saville were able to kick on then, and Niall Medang was very good for Saville now, and it's great to see that too. Come on for Down in the last game against Kildare, and you've seen Ratton over 2 lovely points. He buried 2 goals again the Bridge that night.
You say the training, once you go train with Down under 21s or the seniors, and you get that wee bit extra training, and then you go back to your club.
You can see it's done.
You know, you're a
club
step
level.
ahead of everybody else, so you should be. If you're not, there's something wrong with you.
You
But
can
them lads should all be standing out for their respective clubs.
And then we're
Drive
going,
the
and who was
clubs on,
after
you know.
that?
Just before we leave that one, Thomas O'Hare's going to come into us. We're trying to get him in tonight. Thomas is a good talker, as we all know,
He's a very good talker now, Thomas.
and a good bit of slagging with Thomas about Mayo Bridge. But unfortunately, he couldn't get in tonight, and maybe he knew that result was coming.
Well, they're running a very big event now next week. Mayo Bridge is celebrating their 125th. They claim to be the oldest club in Down, and Latham claims it, Warrenpoint claims it, but I think Mayo Bridge is the oldest club.
Would that be because you're from
I'm
Mayo
doing a
Bridge,
bit of
though?
research in Croke Park at the minute myself. But they're running a major event now next week, and it's this 125 celebration. So it'd be nice to get Thomas in to give us a bit of rundown on what's
I
taking
spoke to him
place.
during the week, and he was trying to get in this week, but he's going to try and get in next week. But if you're telling me there's a big do next weekend, I doubt we'll get him in next Sunday night.
We'll get him in. So
We'll get him
I
during the
think
week.
the do
and maybe for
mightn't
an
be
interview.
the actual function mightn't be the following Friday night. So
No, Saturday,
next
all
Sunday
right.
night would suit us lovely, you know.
Yeah.
But I say again before we leave Mayo Bridge, I don't think they'll go down this year. You know what I mean? I think they'll still be thereabouts. If
Oh, Jesus, no.
Jamie Barr and a few boys there are out injured, and he get injured playing out reserve football, which you don't like to see, you know what I mean, early season. I think he's a couple of weeks from coming back, and Benny was struggling the other night. He was took off again down. They'll come again. Michael Walsh he'll not be pleased with that.
No, you're not pleased, but they're not be panicking there.
They'll not be panicking,
Championship
no.
teams, you know what I mean there.
Warrenpoint then, Damien,
They had a great win at home to Clonduff,
I think they swept them aside in the first 20 minutes. It was just
from what I hear, yeah.
nippy, wee forward, wee fast football, and Clonduff, I think they were 1-7 to 3 points down before
Before they got
game
in,
was
yeah.
over, like 20 minutes, you know, that sort of way. Clonduff, or Warrenpoint hit them, you know the way you'd love a team to hit them at the start there. They did hit them at the start, and I think they were all over them from.
They were motivated, and Clonduff, you know, Patrick McShane would have expected a good start, especially away to a club that's just been promoted. Okay, at 1.1 the Intermediate Championship, but
Granted,
They're
Ian
gonna be
McCarr
losing-
wasn't playing, but
they're going to be losing a lot of players.
well, they had
going to
Orton
America.
and they had
You know what
Orton
I
and
mean?
Darn the other night.
Going forward, like.
Well, they hadn't Aidan the other night, but they had Orton and Darn, and, you know, their usual squad, and they'll be disappointed with that too. Clonduff's
Yeah.
a great, you know, they're a great GAA club, and they'll not want to go down to Warrenpoint and get drubbings like that.
No.
It'll be the funny thing about it is, Damien, it'll be next year before they get a chance to
Before they get a
repay
chance,
it, and it's
yeah.
the same with Mayo Bridge and Salville. As it works this year, they only play each other once.
Yeah, yeah.
So who was after that? You'd had
Anna Clone 111 and Rake 19. Good start for John Hockey in that at home to Unraked. Unraked, you know, struggling again for numbers. A lot of the Mourne clubs are exposed with boys going away, working in England or working
that's
in
right.
Australia or America, and there just isn't the numbers coming through that, you know, to help them. But first league game and Rake, they'll wipe that away and they'll put back
Well,
on
then-
Monday night to get ready for next
Alan
Friday.
Sloan will be well pleased with that. You know, that's their first forte into Division 1. They've been in and out of it this few years, Damien, as you know. And they actually were in the championship final, 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you remember they played the Bridge with their. But like they're in and out, and they'll be well pleased with that first victory.
It was great to get a first.
Great to get a first
victory,
victory.
2 points on the board, and Bransford and Ballyholland was postponed
Confirmation or communion or confirmation in Ballyhole, I think it
for
was.
Friday night, and it was
Friday
to be
night.
played the day. But I seen a photograph on Twitter,
Oh,
and the whole pitch was flooded. As I was telling you, I was in Newcastle walking the dog, and it was crazy. But I've heard now Ballyholland offered to use their pitch because it was
well,
playable,
we'll talk about,
and because they wanted the home gate because they don't play one now.
of course,
There was no agreement.
of course.
Which comes back maybe the new league structures, and you can't blame Bransford for getting a bit of a turn at the gate
That's right.
for their home game. Why should they give it up to play Ballyholland? But that's for now. I mean, discussion.
Oh, it's a bit of needle in that one, then, Damien. We'll maybe get the cameras to that one.
No,
But,
not really needle at all. It's just trying to, you know, the new league structures. We only play everybody once, so why would you give up your home advantage
You
in the likes
mentioned,
of this occasion? You know.
you mentioned about fields wet and flooded, and I was over at Parkes this morning at 10:30. The under 16s were meant to play Ballygallagher and hurling. The place, I took photographs there on my iPhone myself, but there was like a puddle in the middle of the field, and your shoe would have you would have lost your shoe, and it, you know, it was that
Yeah.
deep. And like we harness the resources too. You talk about the GAA and what they'll do for football or for hurling. This was a hurling match, and Ballygallagher had got a boat at 9 o'clock, and there was no sign of the Abbey. We tried the Abbey and we tried the college, but we said to them we'll follow them out as far as Derrylachan, and if there's nobody there we'll play it there. So when we went, climbed the fence in Derrynaghy, Damien, and we played it
There's
there.
something telling anybody.
Unfortunately, the Shamrocks were beat, but that's what happened this morning. So we went round the houses. We went round the houses like.
Moving on, Bourne
Yeah.
4-6, Kilcoo 13 points.
An unbelievable return for young O'Hare again.
4 goals and 3 points.
4-3.
Or something. Yeah.
I was talking to him Saturday morning up at the Féile, and him and Owen was up for. They were up at the college or up the Abbey for ice baths or something, Damien.
Yeah.
He was well buzzing, but you could see in his face, you know, that he's in top form, that lad at the minute. And
He got new boots, I think, during
you
the week.
put
I
him
seen
down. I have him down as a. He's an out-and-out finisher. Like he's not going to get the ball out the halfway line, take on the full, the half-backs, and he needs to be in the full forward line and
close to
finishing,
goal,
finishing. And like he roasted Kilcoo on his own the other night.
Yeah, it was the difference between
Some
that
return 4-3 for
any player,
this,
any match,
this new defensive system we're all trying to play. Like for one man to get 4-3 against square goal, and Kilcoo play a bit of defensive stuff too. Like
they'll not be happy with that, Kilcoo, but that's the way it goes. And again, Kilcoo, Bourne, Mayo Bridge, these clubs will all be planned for championship. They're really, the league is one thing. They use it to develop, to get their game plans, to get their players ready for championship, because that's all that matters really at the end of the day. Last one was Castlewell 1-16, beat Logan Island 1-8.
Oh, it was
a good win for Castlewell at home there.
And Shorty's new Shorty's trainer's took
new
over.
manager, right?
He's a new manager, and I doubt Twitter on Friday night, Damien. I was over at the Jack Mackin Park myself. But Castlewell steamed away in that game too. I think they were 1-11 to no score before.
Yeah.
But then obviously Lough Island rallied, and like they scored 1-8 there, so I don't think they were down, or I don't know about Ben O'Reilly and these boys or Jamie, I don't know what. But we'll see how a lot as the year progresses, and we'll be keeping the fans informed on who's playing where and who's doing well.
And we'll have more coverage of.
Maybe recommend a few boys for James from the show here.
From us, from
two
scouts full
from
of
Destination.
Well, it's an amazing fact.
We'll be keeping an eye.
We'll put a couple of our mates on. Anybody wants to send in any money, we can get them on the down panel.
We'll put them forward for the big stage.
But coming back to that again, there's a few results started off by teams getting a good start, 78 points on the board, run away with it, and then the other team are just too far ahead to get back.
Exactly.
And, maybe they switch off and concede a few scores, but it's vital to get a good start in the league. But next Friday night is again comes to the second round, and we'll just put up the fixtures on your screen and we'll run it through some interesting ties again. And Rake's home to Saville. Ballyholland get their first game home down at Clone. Clonduff at home to Straver. Downpatrick at home to Bransford. Kilcoo at home to Castlewell, a good derby there. Leitrim host Longstone. Lough Island host Warren Point, and Mayo Bridge welcome their neighbours Bourne next Friday night.
Well, don't know how. They don't want to see them coming after.
No.
Saville all night, but as you said, I mean, the bridge in these teams will be thereabouts. They don't go away overnight. These teams, you know.
No.
I know they're on the from what they were. They're not as potent a force, but they're rebuilding again under Michael Walsh. And
yeah, Mickey have his own
they'll be looking forward to Bourne up in Mayo Bridge Friday night as well.
And but hopefully maybe Garvey or somebody will be back maybe to handle Donal O'Hara, but whoever it is will have his hands full.
Well, if his hands full is right.
So that's Division 1 covered, and we'll move on now to results from Division 2. It's just on your screen there. Ballymartin 9 points, Addycall 114, good win for Addycall. Bosco 1-7, Shamrocks 2-12, Carryduff 10 points, Breda 4 points, Darcross 7, Saul 1-4, Tullalish 12, Drumgath 2-10, Clanabana 1-14, Glasdrummold 1-8, Killeaf 1-6, Dundrum 13 points, and today St John's 1-5, Glen 2-7. And again, some good scores there.
Some good scores there. And a note from that too, Damien, just on that subject there, they restructured the leagues last year, as you know. We took it from 4 divisions to 3, and there was a bit of lamenting going on about teams will be getting beat by big scores. And like, we're looking down through them results so far, and there's nobody getting, they're not getting heavy drubbings anywhere, that sort of way.
Like, a lot of clubs are, put good performances in that maybe people didn't expect.
And there's Addycall there, like, great showing against Ballymartin. Ballymartin are in Division 2 quite a while. This will be Addycall's first time up there. The last time I seen Addycall, Damien, was in the senior championship last year. they played Loughlin or something, and they weren't great, you know.
No,
they
a lot
weren't.
of trouble in the last year.
They weren't great, but like, what a result for them there. And I think there's 7 or 8 slums in that team,
Right.
all brothers and cousins, and you know that.
So you start around with 1, there'll be 7 or 8 of them on you.
Like it's a fair result for Ali Collin in the Mourne Derby, and they'll have the tails up run about this week, looking at the Ballymartin boys round the
They will,
corner.
no, they will. They'll be in the Ballymartin in there and but slagging them last night.
Your own club, Damien, at Shamrocks and the Bosco. Went over to that one myself.
Well, we had the cameras at it, and we're hopefully getting the full footage. Will be up maybe tomorrow night or Tuesday night.
I think we'll put the footage up
But the
maybe
full
up
game, I
tomorrow.
thought it was going to be a bit closer than it was, but I think
We did. We thought it was going to be close, and I went over and I done a few photographs and all of it. And I was in round close, you know, in round the football pitch, and it was 5-3 at half time, but you could see.
the fight. Is that all it was?
That's
at
all it
half-time?
was at half time. It was 5-3 to the Shamrocks at half time, but the Shamrocks had most of the play. Them 3 points from the Bosco were breakaway points, and that goal from the Bosco was the last kick too, Damien.
Yeah,
Like Shamrocks, golf looked good the other night, and the young up front,
Jack Hockey, Dale McKeown.
McKeown was very, very good. He was.
Lightning
And
quick, yeah.
Connell golf now. I haven't seen much of that lad. But the reason being he had been sent off, and he hadn't been playing football there over that college game. But I seen him for the first time now. He looked good, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's
And
he
your
claims to
own
be better than Connor.
brother Marty had a fair out go at it too. Like, and
Yeah, Marty's going right
he
here. Yeah.
played a tough game, and he dominated in around that area. You know, good result for Shamrocks, and they'll be looking forward.
They're a bit delighted, but it's just good to get that local derby out of the way and let them concentrate now on pushing on to get the first division because they're well fit for it.
John Murphy and Mickey Linton work together at the bridge, and look, between them they have. If you start counting championships and stuff, them boys won together. Like, they're not soft, and they seem to be working something with. You know, when you come into a new team, Damien, you're in one yourself. It takes a while to get jailed in.
It does. It takes a while to get to know the boys, and
Yeah,
if
it
Paul
takes a
Burns,
season. Yeah.
if Paul Burns in with them, there's
Yeah.
a good link between the lads. You know, Paul takes no messing, but he's also a good bit of crack, and he'll have a good relationship with the young fellas. So, you know, there's no reason to have the whole setup there that they can't push on now.
And then we went on down through. We had Kerry Duff and Breda.
Again, Kerry Duff got a great start. I think 6-7 points up.
That'll be a real local dust up, that one
Yeah,
there. You know,
yeah.
them two clubs will be competing for players.
Big membership down round there.
Great win for Kerry Duff.
Yeah.
You know, and Breda not in the championship. Did Breda not get? I think Breda got to an junior Ulster final last year.
Yeah.
So they're not a bad side, and they have Costello and like they did. Breda got to the junior Ulster final
That's right,
last year. And they'll be disappointed with that. You know, it's not that far away from home going to Kerry Duff for them, so they can't blame travelling. They can't have no excuses.
No. But they're only up now. Breda's a third division. Kerry Duff class, you know, would be a
Kerry Duff would have been
top
playing.
second division.
That's right.
So a big ask for Breda, but next result a good derby there. Saul and Dara Cross, and Saul will be happy with a point. Maybe
Saul got that goal the last kick.
Did they?
They did indeed.
Right.
They did. They'd be delighted, but that's not a local derby. You go on to Tullalish and Drumgath had a big win there.
I expected Tullalish now to be. I
You
think they
would,
were missing a good few boys.
They were missing a few. I was talking to a couple of Tullalish boys on Saturday at the wee team up at the Fela, and they were seeing John McAreevy and that had a run out, but he was far off. You know, fitness and.
But he's coming back. I think from.
He's
an
coming
knee
back. Right,
operation,
he's coming back from.
John's good
He's been
footballer.
struggling for 3 years with that injury, Damien.
But I know one of the Lynches got married in Mexico last week, and they were all at it, Justy and Jackie and a whole lot. So, you know, a few of the players was at it, so I was expecting them to have a hangover from it, but they didn't, and they drove on a great win away to Tullalish.
Great win away for and just to be well pleased with that. A good start to the season.
Yeah,
Yourselves, you require win at home to Last
good
Drummond.
win, a good start. Yeah,
Got off to a good start as well, did
after
they?
a good start, the boys put in a good performance. Yeah, and Conor Harrison full forward for Glastonbury scored most of
Who'd be your big players in Clonabonna, Damien? Or?
Well, you've Paddy Feeney, you've Liam Devlin in the middle of the field. You know, there's a good bunch there of experience with Boone McGrath and Paul Burns.
Maybe a couple of Ryans, is there?
There's Chrissy and Gareth Ryan in the panel, you know. But good. We'll be up against it now next Friday. We'll play the Shamrocks, but
And it was a good start again. Got his goal.
got off to a good start. Should have been more up at half time, but got into the lead and Glastonbury never took the lead. You know, so we were comfortable coming to the end of the last 10 minutes.
And then you've Killeef and Dundrum.
Yeah. I know Killeef struggling for numbers. Just
They're struggling for numbers,
the
and
hurling team.
the problems with hurling too, and they're sort of caught between both. You know,
That's it. Yeah.
and clubs in that situation, you'd be small enough club, Damien.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to field hurling teams and football teams. Not easy.
And Dundrum,
Good enough in for Dundrum.
Well,
I don't
Paul
know.
McComas.
Is he away?
He's gone. He's in
Oh,
South
there you
Africa
are.
tweeting pictures of Golden Gate Bridge and everything.
Well,
Yes.
there you are. So we know Paul McComas Dundrum will be well pleased for that.
Paddy Kilty was in Tullamore with a wife, Cat Daly, walking around on Saturday, so maybe he played from Friday night. I don't know.
He made it alright.
I had to tend him maybe after.
He's a Dundrum man, anyhow.
Yeah.
You've won from the day, Damien. St John's. St John's could beat with Lane. Well, St John's will be coming up as well, wouldn't they, Damien?
They're coming up. Sean Ward over them from Bourne. This is his second year, I think.
Oh, Sean over them, is he? Yeah.
Good, big. They're a great club, well organised club, big club rooms down there. But I know they had Derek Rand.
That's right. The Derek
concert
Ryan
on
Friday night. That's why the match was
games
today.
off, Yeah. But they do great events there and raise plenty of money.
And they're heavily involved in that Camp McCormick, isn't
Camp
that?
McCormick,
They're a big team with that there as well.
And not the Camp JMac, they do.
Oh, Camp
John
JMac,
McMullen,
they do, yeah.
Cormac McMullen organised that. The
Great club, and the club rooms are amazing. And
fantastic. Yeah.
they were burned out a few years ago there, as you know, Damien. Some old arson or...
Yeah. I thought you were going to call him something.
But, no, we'll keep that for off air. But it's a credit to them. You want to see the hall they built and the stage, and there's a major... Upstairs is a major dance
It's
floor.
probably one of the best club facilities in Down.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Lough Island have a fair club over there, but
Lough
wouldn't compare to St John's, a massive building.
No, and we'll read just the second division fixtures for this Friday night. I'll just get them on your screen. Shamrocks at home to Clondavana, should be a handy win for Shamrocks. Saul at home to Tullinish. Glen at home to Killeaf. Glasdrumman host Darracross. Dundrum play Carryduff in Dundrum. Drumgath host St John's. Breda host Ballymartin, and Addycall play Bosco. So Remy Tomley taking his Bosco side back to who he previously managed Addycall.
There you are, I didn't know that, I mean.
No, he was Addycall manager a few years ago, but now he's over the Bosco man himself. So
I didn't think he was taking the Bosco this year, but I seen him, he was in full flow Friday night. He was indeed, no?
No, a good few battles there, you know. But good for myself to get back down to the Shamrocks, pit our wits against them, but
A wee bit touchy for you, you'll have to come in with a howling or something, will you?
no, Clondavana head to toe on me. Glasdrum and Darracross will be a tight one. Again, you know, Dundrum and Drumgath will want to back up them away victories with home results.
You'd be expecting Drumgath to take that one there, because Loud and Drum, did they finish last season undefeated? I think they were.
I think they did, but Paul McComiskey with Dundrum and Paul McComiskey without Dundrum was two different teams.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
And Drumgath have a bit of stuff coming through, and they work hard out there, and they built that club, and they haven't just finished yet, but they're working away at it, and they will get it finished, and
like everybody, yeah.
they'll be holding their functions in it, and
but everybody, as I say, Division 2 is wide open for anybody.
it's wide open.
So everybody be expecting good results. They lost last week or won. It'll make a big difference if we get a result.
Arts
We'll move on to
AV.
3 results. We'll read them out. They'll be on your screen. Ardglass 9 points. Drummond 8 points. Ackerdurg 3-12. Bright 3 points. We're hammering for Bright. Killylay 1-12. St Michael's 2-10. Ballykinler 5 points. Mitchell's 9 goals and 17 points. Dramara 4-9. St Paul's 3-5. And Taconic 2-15. Appleton Finn 3 points.
Yeah, we said it a couple of weeks ago, Damien, where Mitchell's and Drummond is going to be, you know, they're the strong teams in that division, and there you see Ardglass got a drubbing last week and turned around beat Drummond.
Yeah.
We were saying here last week about the two teams in that division would be Drummond and Mitchell's. A real shock result for Ardglass to beat Drummond.
Yeah, well,
Ardglass
home, you know.
they're tortured too with soccer too, Damien, down there thinking. When the soccer season seems to be over, they seem to be able to. They're always the second half of the season too.
Right. When the soccer
You know, when the
finishes,
soccer finishes, they seem to win. But like that's an early season result, and they'll be well kicked
Pleased
on
with
with
that,
that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Ackerdurg, Bright. I don't know much about Bright. They're away over that direction too.
no, Ackerdurg, that's good scoring against anybody. 3-12.
It is. Killylay and St Michael's. Well, that's Killylay's first year in, and they racked up 112 there, and they seem to be going rightly, Damien.
Yeah.
They haven't got a match yet, and Ballykinler are in a bit of trouble this season, and they're getting severe drubbings. Like.
Yeah, it's not good for anybody, you know, to get that sort of beating.
The
week in,
Mitchells,
week out.
the Mitchells at 9 goals, and I think Danny got 4. They took him off 20 minutes to go. And, like that's coming off a bit of minor training too. He's showing
We spoke before, but he's training with Down Miners, is he? And he's training
He's showing
with
very
St.
strong
Coleman's.
football. Like, he was disappointed coming off. So he was disappointed coming off. There's Dunmara and St Paul's. Big scoring again, 4-9 to 3-5.
Yeah.
Hawks and Finn. The Connacht would be well fit for them, and they give them a good drubbing, so they did, Damien.
Yeah. But Mitchell seemed to have run away with that league, and
Mitchell
Kieran Mudison trained them from Ballyhone, you know, Boo.
He is, huh?
He wouldn't be training them on shooting, but to put up that score 9-17, but he seems to be having an effect there with Harry and I know Anthony Sloan not helping him out.
They're building from last season with Harry. And it seems to be settling down a bit now. And be nice to see the Mitchells getting up into Division 2 for a bit of a run. You know, they wouldn't be used to it. Like
next year, Shamrocks Mitchells also could be in Division 2.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Derbies, yeah.
Well, Shamrocks, if they go the way they're going, they could be going to Division 1.
They'll be aiming for Division 1.
They will. Linton and John will be trying for Division 1. Yourself, suppose you'll be trying for it yourself, for all of honesty.
Everybody's trying, yeah.
It's a target, isn't it?
Every week as it comes,
Well, if Division 3 fixtures for next week, we'll just run through them. And Bright are at home to Hawks and Finn. To Connacht at home to Killaloe. Mitchells have Ardglass at home. St Paul's are at home to Ballykinler. St Michael's at home to Demara, and Drummond S have Augherderg at home. So they have. Well, that's your division. The county football season underway last Friday night, and we were busy, man. We were trying to cover everything, and we're trying to keep you updated with the scores. And
we're getting texts in here that we're leaving people out and scores out, but DJ Johnny G, or what do you call him, John Martin from this morning, he says his fella Reese scored 1-3 for the Mitchells in the first minor game during the week. I would have to give Reese a shout out and well done. I seen some of your photographs you're putting up.
I did. I put a couple of good photographs up of him, John, on the Facebook if you want to have a look at it. And
it must be
he played well.
He
played well. He's young man for minor football, but the Mitchells and the boss going out to Diana It was in Derlack as well, Damien. We're expecting, but the Mitchells wanted to, fair enough, like at the end of it all.
Yeah, they
weren't comfortable. Like the boss got a young team out, but Donny and young Sloan and Reese, and they're all showing good football. Reese at 1-3, and I was at the nets where he got the goal, cracking me goal it was like.
I see him regular in the window. He's coming in there to Bull's gym. He's working flat out.
He's flat out in the gym,
lifting weights and
Jody and Gary and a few of them. And they're flat out, and they love this football, and it's a quite lift for them when they do get a 1-3 or something like that. Damien, basically because he's still under 14. You know what I mean? Which can't be forgot about.
Yeah. But we'll have no Armagh results. We're trying to get them there, so we're trying to get organised for next week. If somebody could email us in all the Armagh results, I know their adult league started the day.
Yeah, we'll have the Armagh results all sorted out for next week.
But you have some of the league, the Division 1 league semi-finals we'll have here. We'll just run through them.
The Division 1 leagues and playoffs and stuff are on the day, Damien, throughout the country.
We'll just have the Division 1 semi-finals up on the
Division 1 semi-final was Tyrone 2-15, Kildare 2-11, and Dublin beat Mayo 2-16 to 16 points, Damien.
Yeah.
I think the Dublin match now from I didn't see much of it now. I was on the road all day, as I told you, and I think they could have scored a lot more goals from what I'm hearing.
I didn't see Dublin now, but
I think Dublin missed as many again as that. You know what I mean? And Mayo will be disappointed with that. And when you look at that, Damien, that's the two teams there in the semi-final that we beat this year, and convincing enough we beat them. You know what I mean? We beat Mayo before, and we beat Kildare the last time out. You know what I mean? And like at the end of the day, I was doing a bit of studying during the week, and that goal against Cork not only relegated us, but it also left us out of that semi-final there.
I've seen Sean or Destination Uri tweet that during the week.
I'm sure Dublin would have been hard to deal with now again, as you know, but some of the showing from some of our footballers over the weekend, young Medine and Donal O'Hara,
it looks good.
They seem to be going in the right direction. You know what I mean? And it would have been nice, suppose to be hooking about for challenges now, Damien, for up to this match against Derry. And we'll have
I've seen the Tyrone match, and Stephen O'Neill gave an exhibition the last 10 minutes. Was unreal.
I heard Stephen O'Neill, and he's the Ulster GAA Ulster GAA Raiders Player of the Month this month.
Player of the day. Some of the scores, he sold a dummy one stage today. So your man still flying through the air trying to block it, and he
capped it off with a fine performance today. Is right, Damien. Great footballer. I always admired him as a footballer, and the way he carries himself and everything about him, and he's a genuine sort of a lad. Kildare, I don't think, from according to what I heard, they were never winning it. You know what I mean, Damien? They drew back level at one stage with early on in the first half, but Tyrone kicked on again, and Kildare can't seem to beat Tyrone at all at any stage. You know what I mean? It's always Kieran McGeeney will be having nightmares about Tyrone.
On the same hand, I don't think McGeeney would be too worried about. He'd not won a game against Dublin maybe a few weeks before. They might potentially run into one on in the Leinster Championship, you know. And again, James Horn from Mayo will be disappointed, but
he will be disappointed.
Not the end of the world, you know.
James Horn will be disappointed after they were lucky to come out of the league, and you know what I mean. By all accounts, they were well beat today, Damien, and James will be very disappointed with that. Yeah. We know his form, and I've seen him in Newry and chatted to him a few times. He's very passionate. He's very passionate, sort of a way about the game. But we have a few other results here from hurling roundups today, and in the Alliance Hurling League Division 1A relegation playoff, a high scoring game, Damien. 2-23 for Cork and Clare 31 points.
Can you talk about extra time? What was the final?
It went to extra time. Cork were relegated.
Oh.
So they were. So, like, I would be tipping Cork for to give the All Ireland a quite rattle this year with Jimmy Barry Murphy's over them again. Clare seem to be on a revival. You know the way Clare come every now and again with a team, and this year they had a great league campaign. We're going down through the Alliance Hurling League now with 1B relegation playoff. Antrim survived and will play in 1B next year. They beat Carlow 15-11. A few wee hiccups during the week there with the footballers too, Damien, up in Antrim.
Yeah, we didn't know where to talk about that or not. But
no, we'll maybe leave that. We'll maybe get a crack. We'll maybe get Frank in some night to talk about that. But in the Alliance Hurling League Division 2A, these type of teams we'll be meeting ourselves, Damien, in the Christy Ring this year. Laois beat Westmeath easy 3-14 to 1-9, and in the 2A relegation playoff, Kildare relegated Wicklow. Wicklow were down to Division 2B, and we'll be playing them next year. And in our own Division 2B, Meath got off to a flying start with Lunton and were coasting, but Lunton seemed to have something about them, Damien, and this last couple of years they're winning matches with they never won.
Improved the hurlers and
they've improved. They ended up beating Meath 116 to 114, win by 2 points, and that's in Meath. And Lunton, you have to give them respect. They put a lot of work into it. I met a gentleman from Lunton last night, involved with the Lunton team. Was up in Dublin and had a good old crack with them. They put a lot of work into it. Even Hertfordshire and Surrey now they've teams up in
Warwickshire,
they've hurling teams going.
Warwickshire, but Lunton is getting stronger. Because the boys is having to leave Ireland for work.
That's right, and we've one more
playing over there, and that's improving Lunton footballers and hurlers.
One more result from Division 3B, and it was a winners playoff. It was Sligo 9 points, Longford 1-8. So Longford win Division 3B this year. There's no relegation from that one, Damien, because there's nowhere to go after that. But I was reading a wee bit about that Cork and Clare game, and Cork were coasting apparently at 68 minutes. And Clare rattled one into the net and got a couple of points to level it up, went into extra time, and Clare won easy in extra time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be afraid to say it. I'd be expecting Cork to be in the last 4, maybe the last 2 this year in All Ireland.
Yeah, well, I was listening to the video they were previewing, and they said Cork need to stay in Division 1 for Division 1. They need a good strong Cork team every year that to draw the professional draw the crowds.
Cork had some great games this year. I'd follow a wee bit of the hurl myself, and there were narrow defeats for with different teams that put them down. Narrow enough defeat the day after extra time. They were coasting it. But as you see, you're never coasting in this game. Even in 68 minutes, if you're 4 or 5 points up, you need to close them out, Damien. That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. But you said you were in Dublin last night talking to one of the Lunton managers, but
I was in Dublin last night.
You want to tell us why you were in Dublin?
I was in Dublin last night. They gave me an award this week there, Damien, in Croke Park. And
best presenter in Destination Newry, wasn't
it wouldn't. I'll maybe get that one next year. Hopefully I'll be putting the show forward for but we won best programme of 2012 for a county final programme. I was up last night in Dublin, and the president, Liam O'Neill, presented me with a bit of a trophy, you know what I mean. I think maybe Sean has a photograph of it there if we get it up. But this is the McNamee Award, they call it, Damien. It's given out every year, and there's about 6 or 7 awards.
For the programme or for the yearbook? Or
it's for the programme. Right. Well, there's one for a book, and there's one for website, and there's one for a radio programme which we're doing here ourselves, so we'll be entering it next year. There's one for the best programme, there's one for Hall of Fame, and
right.
There's about 7 or 8 awards, but we got the 2012 best
That's
programme.
brilliant, isn't it? Like this.
It's great to get
Fantastic
the
work.
recognition's great. Then
Yeah.
I was up there last night. I was rubbing
Short
shoulders
time
with
going on, had you?
a few big. I was talking to the man. There's two men going forward for the GAA president this year. Egan O'Farrell, our own man from Ulster, here's going forward, but another gentleman from Tipperary, great crack with him last night.
Right.
Great crack with him. And I just met him. You know the way I didn't know the man from
Yeah.
Adam. Just happened to stumble on him, and the crack with him was unbelievable. I couldn't get away from him. So, but a good night and the fair as well. And going down the road with my big trophy, Damien. I'll put her up in the cabinet now. That's probably the only trophy I'll get this year,
I'll
unless
get a
Cahill.
photograph up on the website.
Did you find that photograph, Sean? Or you?
No, it's
No,
gone. So
we can't get the photograph. But
you
sure,
lost
sure,
your moment of glory.
we'll lose my moment of glory. We'll get it up on the website during the week, so we will.
Yeah,
And we'll give everyone a look at. That was a nice bronze trophy, Damien.
That's
I tell
great
you
to
what,
get for all
there's
the hard
30
work you've put in.
There's
like, you know.
32 counties in Ireland. Like the amount of programmes that we made in Ireland in a season would be
Mm.
unbelievable. And I haven't got that amazing fact to let you know how many.
No,
You know what I mean?
that's one for you to work on.
But it would be an immense amount of programmes, and there'd be a lot of entries in for that one.
Yeah.
We're proud to win it. And
But you do a fantastic programme, and it gives plenty of reading, loads of adverts, and lots of support from the local businesses.
I'd won it for clear content and information for the day of the match was exceptional.
Well
So,
done.
there you are.
A star for the programme committee.
A star of the
And
programme
you done most
committee.
of the work.
98%
8% of it.
of it. I get a bit of help. We'll know out of Apex now. He's a great man, and he helps me immensely with the programmes. And you know, I supply the content, and he puts it into place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sort of a joint effort with the two of us. You know what I mean? And we have Patsy there doing odd quiz, or Seamus McLean. And there's a lot of involvement getting the programme ready. And like one people that we all forget about when we're talking about programmes is photographers. And in Down we have a couple of great photographers, Louis McNally and Pat O'Hare, and them boys. It's their living to work as photographers, but to supply me with the best quality photographs, and that helps programmes too.
Of course, the more pictures and images. That's the beauty about Destination Uri, is the visual. You can see people.
That's
you know,
great.
with the videos, you can talk to them, and you can see our ugly mugs. Maybe it's better.
And
than
hopefully
listening
Sean
to
will
the
get
video.
that wee photograph up for you all during
Don't
the
be
week.
panicking. We'll get it up.
We'll get it up
We'll
during
get
the
up
week.
next week anyway. And maybe a video of you.
We're heading on to him, it's 5 to 8, and we'll have a bit of stuff.
We had a few videos, but unfortunately, they're just not ready, and we'll do them next week. So if Cian Tucker, Jake Tucker, All Ireland boxing champions,
Yes.
we'll have a wee clip of them next week. We'll have a clip of.
We'll try and get a crossbar challenge in during the week with
Young
one of
Sean
the underage
Ryan,
teams.
the 6-year-old golfer from Bourne, who
Yes.
we're maybe going to go into the bookies and put odds on playing at the next Masters,
That's
not
right.
the next one.
No,
Playing
whenever he
playing
arrives at that
20
age,
years, yeah, because he's a
he's very
fantastic.
good. He's very good golfer.
But
Yeah.
we'll have a clip of him playing a Royal County Down Links course, and
And then-
some of the shots is unreal. For
We were
6-year-old.
talking a wee bit about GAA there. We'll talk a wee bit about everything, Damien. We'll jump from one thing to the other, but that's probably what the show's about. But I was at the Fela yesterday. People have been wondering out there how I cover all this crowd. I was at the Fela. I run the B Fela with three venues with Mayo Bridge. Shauna, our colleague from next door,
Was it Mayo Bridge, was
had
it?
a huge
Input and
input out in Mayo Bridge, and a huge crowd of people to deal with. And Horn Downey and the Bowley Eden was heavily
Muffy, was
involved,
he?
and
Yeah.
he was a runner, and like he was carrying results back, and it was great. And I had the B group up in the Alba. I had 5 teams, and the out and out winner in my group was Drumgath, and Damard had the C group down Park Esler, and the winner of that was Enraked. Great battle with local rivals Longstone in the final. And
right.
they had beat them in the group stage, and them matches, Damien, people doesn't understand the
passion
passion that goes into that. And it's only 7 minutes a half, and it's like boxing. You know the way if you have a 12-round boxing, but see these 3-round boxing, it's just all
Yeah,
out
all
go.
goes
You know what I
through,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
The wee lads leave it all in the field. And the winner in my group was Drumgath, and credit to them, they beat Ali Call in the final. And again, Ali Call beat them in the group, Damien. And
But they
like,
did
that's
it
the way it
final.
was, you know what I mean? It was a tight fairly yesterday, and I said it last week that even in any of the groups, there was 2 or 3 teams could have won it, and there was a few teams, you know, different clubs gathered together. Anna Leisha, Anna Clone, and Tulla Leisha, and that's the way things is going now too, Damien. And GAA at underage level, we seem to have teams doubling up each other. Great to see it because it keeps lads playing football.
Well, I know a lot of clubs they're struggling to get 15 at that level. So they're joining the clubs to maybe get to 20 or 25 so they can put teams out every week.
It's great to see
and
it.
compete, rather than just try and make numbers up.
And them lads, maybe once they step on up, they're on the 14s now, but maybe once them lads go up to on the 16s, they play against each other. And, I noticed yesterday now that on Laois, that was the team that I had over there, and great camaraderie among them. And they're a great bunch of lads. They lost 4 games, but they were great crack. And I was mingling. I felt sort of sorry for them, but they got one bad beating. But I sort of mixed with them a bit, and before their last match, I gave them a wee. I told them if they got on the ball, I put them up on Facebook. You know the way you try to, as children, you know what I mean, Damien? And like the great response out of them, and
They're just love playing football.
Powerful to see it. And out in Mayo Bridge we had a real ding-dong battle. We had 4 of the big guns reached the final. Mayo Bridge, Bourne, Breda and Carryduff. You have the East Down big boys and the South Down big boys. And Carryduff played Mayo Bridge in the semi-final and beat them. What happened in Mayo Bridge was I was lucky to have mine over for about 1 o'clock. I mean, the sun was beautiful all morning, but a wind. I'm sure you know what it was like yesterday evening. It sort of spoiled the 2 semi-finals. The wee Mayo Bridge lads, they just weren't fit to kick the ball again the wind. And this is their first time on the big field. They come from under 12s, from Go Games. And it was just too much for them. And Bourne dealt with Breda in the A semi-final. And in the final, good enough final. Carryduff put it up to Bourne, level at half time. But we mentioned him here a few times this last week's Damien, and he came up again yesterday. Young Liam Kerr. Played for St Mark's. He was the man.
Was he?
He was just unbelievable. He played for Bourne, and he was the difference in them winning and losing the competition. And we're trying to keep people up to date with young footballers, and he is one. I mentioned one last week out of the St Mark's game, Butler, young Butler from Offaly, but this young Kerr fella seems to be a player too.
Gonna be up there as well,
he seems to be a great player. And I took time to watch the semi-finals, and that it was great to him and enjoy all that. Sean was under a bit of pressure early days, but he hadn't pulled around, and Donny was great, and a great fella he had, and the referees were great, and that's the way it goes, everybody chips in on the day.
But Bourne won that, and they go on now to, I think it's in Derry, isn't it?
This is the second year running now Bourne won the field in the finals in Derry this year. They got to the final last year against a New York team who I think I have got to come to the conclusion about New York that they get the biggest under 14 lads is in America, and they develop them, and this is no word of a lie. I've seen these lads playing last year in the field of final. They were huge men. They were on special diets. They weren't allowed to,
Are you serious?
Oh, they were had to be in bed for certain times, but why do they not bring that on to the next stage? You know what I mean? And maybe develop a senior. They seem to let them go at 14. New York nearly always wins the field, Damien.
Right.
Huge big teams, and professionally.
Size at that level makes an awful difference.
Professionally approach to the game is unbelievable, and bed at 8 o'clock at night during the tournament, and special diets, and no
real American professional approach about the games.
The real American. Bourne went down now. Bourne are a club too. They'd be big rivals of ours up in Mayo Bridge, and see they have a crop of under 14s now. I think they've about 45 teams.
Right.
They've the biggest crop of under 14s in down, and they have Brendan McKiernan, John Trainer, Brian McAvoy, and boys like that looking after them. So they know they've something, and they're putting the right boys to bring them on, which is good to see too.
Fair play to them when they get to Derry in a couple of weeks.
And we wish them well, and Derry's right.
You have a couple just of down ladies here before we're wrapping up.
We had the under 14s got going, and the down ladies we cover everything, and they were beat 12-6 to 7-9, Damien, and against Monaghan in RGU double header last week, and the Mainers played after. They played Armagh, and Armagh will be very strong in ladies football, and they won 5-10 to 2-4, and credit to the girls too, they're up and running, and you know what I mean, and there's a lot of work goes on. Barry McConville, we had him in here. He's a great man, he does a lot of work on that ladies football, and he keeps me informed of what's going on to him.
And I know the girls is in a couple of weeks in I think a National League semi-final.
That's right.
We're trying to get coverage of it in Clonus, but there's no internet access or anything in Clonus, so
we'll do a wee special the week probably before that.
Them and Armagh I think is in maybe 2 semi-finals in Clonus, so the best of luck to them, but we'll talk more about that closer to the time. Now we're in the studio, we've done a bit of work during the week, and I think they turned it into a sauna. We're sweating here.
God, the
Darryl
studio.
put an extra few lights, and I mean it's I think we're in Mexico or something.
We
here
are in Mexico
at the wedding last
it's
week.
Unbelievable the heat we're going through here, but It's all good, and the time's flying on, Damien. You have a
Time's
few
flying
more
on.
bits to round up there.
I've just one thing. Crossmaglen Rangers are holding the International Sevens competition next Saturday, and I think it's in memory of Paul McKeown, I think is the lad's name, if I remember right,
That's right.
who unfortunately
No,
died
unfortunate
Yeah.
accident.
in Dundalk a couple of years ago. So it's next Saturday, the 20th of April. The Sevens, the teams from all over the world coming. It starts at 11 a.m. next Saturday morning. Tickets are £5 sterling or €6. That's entry to the Sevens all day to the night in the hall, and you have a go at the game show, which is Black and Amber game show, appropriately.
very good night, Damien.
And
And
there's £200 with prize money, but the night starts at 7:30 p.m. So that'll be a great night out in
I think
Crossmaglen.
Paul, a couple of children, maybe go towards, but it should be supported, that Damien, and he was heavily involved in the Crossmaglen team when the accident took
He
place.
won. And
I don't know
think he
many
played,
All-Ireland
yeah.
medals he would have in club championships. It'd be unbelievable.
And I know with Crossmaglen they're going to send us in some video footage, and we'll get that up to next week. And also the Shamrocks and Bosco match. We've got
That's right,
video
we're putting it up.
Friday
And
night.
there's another thing going on this weekend, Damien, about the golf. You know, there'll be a lot of golf fans out
Well,
there.
the Masters on the night.
Masters
We'll get home
is
now
on,
and we'll
and
watch the final.
We'll go home and watch the Masters,
When
but
Tiger's still in it now, do you think he's
still
up
in
there
it,
or not?
I don't know now. If there were, well, I suppose the wee lad could drop the shot. He got the shot taken off him, and
For slow play.
for slow play, and Tiger he had to take 2 off him for
Signed
filling
the
in,
wrong score
signed the
card.
wrong card. But it's unbelievable, Damien, that a man of the capability and the
Professionalism,
professionalism of
money
Tiger
is
Woods
involved,
and the
isn't
many men that surround him, the entourage would take with him, would make a mistake like that.
Well, he should be out.
He should be out, and I don't know. There's no excuse for breaking the rules in any sport or anything. You know what I mean? And we all do our best to try and keep within the rules. You know what I mean? But it's unbelievable how he's still there. Like I know fellas from before that done the same thing.
There's
And
a few-
I think Rory McIlroy got took out of a competition not that long
Well, there
ago
was
for.
somebody else, wasn't nearly won a major, and he had an extra club in his bag.
And then
Went straight out for it.
the young fella they done him for too long a play. But I don't think it was in one hole. I think he had done it a few
Well, he
times.
got
you
warned.
know.
He got a couple of
He
warnings.
had a few
but
warnings, but the senior players in the Masters they weren't happy with it.
No, and he hadn't even the gumption to resign or disqualify himself and say, look, fair enough, I made a mistake. You didn't disqualify me, I'll step away. He would have thought a lot more of him, but he thinks he's in with a chance of winning it. Maybe he
That's
is,
right.
maybe he isn't. But good luck to whoever wins that tonight.
Well, we're watching that tonight, and we'll maybe give you a wee.
And I'll win a
run
few
down
quid
next
tonight
week,
if I have it.
According to the Destination Jury now, we'd be sacking Tiger Woods, wouldn't we, Damien? We'd be sacking him, so what at the. Well, have you anything more, Damien?
No, I think that's
anything
me. Have
more?
you any amazing facts?
We're
or-
about 8:05. Well, Fernando Alonso won the Grand Prix today. We need to give that a wee mention. I have a couple of facts for you this week. And when we're on the subject of golf, there's a lot of people play golf in the world. And I just got a wee fact during the week, and it's a weird one too. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't believe it. Like anybody feeling bad about their handicap, don't feel too bad, because 80% of golfers over the world never achieve a handicap of less than 18. Hard to believe.
Yeah.
80% of golfers in the world can't
Play off less than 18.
get off less than 18.
No matter
So there
how
you are.
much money you spend in your clubs.
So there's
or your
it matter how
shoes or
much
your-
money you spend, wherever you spend it, there's an elite group there, and they're at the forefront of golfing. I have another one. I've discovered a great story during the week. It may take a minute or two to get through this one, Damien, but it's unbelievable how you find these things out. Like a gentleman by the name of Thomas Cayley. He was born in Tipperary in 1869, and he was a great athlete. This gentleman.
He's the
And
same age as you, is he?
no, he's an old man, but
Right.
he was a great athlete, and I think Sean is a wee image of him. And all his lifetime ambition was to take part in the Olympic Games. As I say, we cover all the sports, Damien. But being from Ireland, we weren't registered as a country until 1924 in the Olympic Games. So, Mr. Cayley, as we know him, Tipperary-born gentleman, was approached by America and Great Britain and offered huge sponsorship to play and represent America. And he was offered huge sponsorship from Great Britain to play for Great Britain. And being Irish and being from Tipperary, you'd have to say fair play to him. What he done was, at 34 years of age, he gathered all he had in Tipperary, all the trophies he ever won. He sold them, and he paid his own fare to America, to St. Louis, Missouri, to the 1904 Olympic Games, and went to represent. When he arrived in America, he was approached again by America and offered huge amounts of money to represent America and by Great Britain to offer to run for them, but he refused point blank and said he was an Irishman, he was running for Ireland. He went on to win the gold medal. They run the whole event at the Castle, 10 events in the one day. He went on to win the gold medal by miles, Damien. But unfortunately for Tom, the worst part of the story is because Ireland weren't an independent country in 1924, he went down in the records as being from Britain in the IOC records. So Tom, we're ratifying that beneath here. We're making you back. We're calling you back as an Irishman. But if you look up the records, Tom Kelly comes onto the British team in the 1904 Olympics, and he's a temporary born Irishman. So there's one for you, Damien.
That's an amazing fact.
I think Sean has an image of him up there. That's him in the hammer throw. I admired the story about him, Damien, and I thought it was great read, and I admired the guts of him to stand by his principles, and he represented Ireland, and he wouldn't be bought by no Americans. He sold all the trophies and away he went.
Fair play to him. And that concludes our sports show for this week, and we'll look forward to your amazing fact, sponsored by Can City next week.
That's right.
Right. So thanks very much for joining us.
And they'll all be running to Google now to see. They'll be all sitting on the computer now, Cahill and all at home. Tom Kelly, who is this guy? They'll be all flat out at home to see. Just have a look about him and you'll all find out.
And if you Google Paul's amazing facts, I'm sure it'll come up under.
Well, if you Google Tom Kelly, I'm sure he's there somewhere because he's famous. And in my eyes, he deserves great credit for standing to his word, and he represented Ireland and wouldn't be bought by no Americans or no English.
No, and that's Al's just texting there. He's on Google as we speak.
There you are. He's on Google. There you are. So we'll keep them busy, Damien, in the studio, and that's it from me from this week, Damien. And have you anything more yourself?
No, I'm just sweating away here like a man. And Sean's lost a half a stone in.
Well, with big red faces on the screen too, probably.
So he'll be in good shape for the American football team next week, anyway.
He's come back to the Mitchells too, by the way.
That's another story. Tune in next Sunday night, but keep an eye out on Destination Newry for the Shamrocks Bosco full coverage.
Hopefully tomorrow night we'll have it up. We're trying to get a show going next Friday night, which will be all the results venues as they happen. So any club get involved, we'll be doing a crossbar challenge maybe tomorrow night to get it ready for next Sunday. And once again, thanks to everyone for tuning in, and keep in touch, destinationnewry.com. Thank you.